Time. One of those weird ones, right? It's passing at every point in time. Everyone knows what the concept of time means, but yet nobody really thinks to study it. Out of all of the personal development stuff I've tried, focusing on time has been by far one of the most beneficial. And time is constant. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. It's the same for everyone on this planet, unless you're watching this video in 2 times speed, at which point it would be much quicker. But time's really quite interesting, actually. It's made me so much more productive, and I felt more present to the moment, more grounded in reality than I ever have before. And I've tried everything from meditation to gratefulness to just constantly trying to focus on the present moment. And yet, the concept of time, or timeism, as me and the people in the procrastination program are starting to call it, has been one of the most beneficial things that I've found. So, as I'm sure you know, in life there are people with some pretty crazy results. The graph is an exponential graph of income distribution, which means that there's a vast minority of people that are getting a vast majority of results. And this is a really interesting thesis that we've come across. Why is this the case? We all have the same amount of time. Everybody has 24 hours in a day and 7 days in a week, and 60 minutes in an hour and 60 seconds in a minute. It's the same for everyone. Yet somehow people's results are completely different, and I'm talking about wildly different. Completely crazy, out of this world different. When you read some of the statistics about Jeff Bezos, when you could earn, £6,000 a minute between the time Christ was born and now, and you still wouldn't have as much as Jeff Bezos had, or statistics like that. It's just crazy. It's difficult to comprehend. It's so much that it's difficult to comprehend. But how is this the case? If we've all got the same amount of time, how have these people got such better results? And the answer is, they've learned how to master time. I truly believe that the main difference between your average guy and Jeff Bezos is that Jeff Bezos has learned how to master time. Because in reality, time is the medium through which everything happens. No matter who you are, or who you want to become, or what you want to achieve, the only way you can achieve that is by using your time wisely. So if you want to earn £1 million, or if you want to become great at basketball, or even if you just want to learn how to tie your shoelaces, the only way you can do those things is by using your time in a way that supports that end goal. If you want to build a business, how do you do that? Well, it all comes down to how you use your time. How you use your time is everything. Time is the medium through which everything happens. Like when you talk with someone, you have vibration waves coming from their mouth and it goes into their ear, and the air is the medium through which sound travels. In life, time is the medium through which everything happens. Whatever you're trying to do, like I keep saying it's done through time. So if you can master time, like Jeff Bezos and other people have, then you can get wildly incredible results, and it all comes through the medium of time. But with Jeff Bezos, it's interesting, because he hasn't just mastered his own time. He's been able to leverage other people's time to get what he wants, and to navigate reality in a way that gets his ultimate goal. He's been able to leverage other people's time. So when I'm talking about mastering time, I'm not just talking about productivity. There's many acts of different skills and crafts and areas of expertise that goes into timeism. There's multiple different things, from delegation to productivity and all of these kinds of things. The better you use your time, the more goals you achieve, and the better person you become. And there's a direct correlation with how well you can use your time and the quality of life that you have. Because the quality of your life is determined by the quality of actions that you do. And those actions go through the medium of time. So if you can really understand how to get time on your side, for most people time is the enemy. There's literally quotes about how time is the enemy of all humans. But if you can get time on your side, you can learn how to navigate time, learn how time works, and learn how the laws of the universe work, just how things work in general, and you're able to use time, then you're able to get what you want. Because like I said, whatever you want to achieve, time is the medium through which that happens, and the difference between Jeff Bezos and a normal person is how they use their time. In fact, the only difference between a normal person and Marcus Aurelius is how he used his time, the actions he took over time, the thoughts he had over time, the decision he makes over time. Time is really at the center of everything. And if you can master time, and you can master the art and the science of timeism, then you can get what you want. And by extension, you can become who you want to become, because we know that you become the kind of person you become through repetitive action. You are what you repeatedly do. So if you can master time, you can get what you want, and you can become the kind of person you want to become, who reaches his potential and who's proud of themselves. It's all done through the medium of time. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. You interested? So for me, my go-to guy, he's called David Dobrik. I don't have to take chances clicking on some random video on the YouTube homepage. I go to the same guy, I'm a loyal fan, and watch one of his videos. And that way I'm able to get back into work. Life is about the journey, not the destination. If you've heard this quote, you probably fall into one of two buckets. First of all, you're thinking, oh, this is just cheesy, it holds nothing of value. And the second group of people says, this is cheesy, but you know, there's something in it. There's something that's quite beneficial within that saying. And hopefully in this next little segment, I'll be able to introduce a third group of people who understand this deeply and really embody it and feel it at an emotional level. So it's all about the journey and not the destination. And what this means is that whatever your life purpose is, or whatever your goal is, without sounding too hippie-ish, whatever your goal is, whatever you want to do with your time, the only way you can achieve that is through the journey, is through the actions over time. So if we're talking about wisdom, and it's your life purpose or your goal to seek wisdom, the only way that you can do that is through repetition of actions that increase your wisdom level. So you can do things that increase your wisdom level. Ultimately, you're never going to become truly wise. You're never going to reach that end destination. That's impossible. The only thing you can do is make progress towards that end destination every single day. So at the end of the day, you can ask yourself, have I made progress towards my goal of becoming wise? And if you have, then fireworks should be going off in your mind. You should be celebrating, you should be jumping for joy, because that's you making progress towards your end destination. You're never going to get there, but what's important is, are you making progress over time? If your goal is to lose weight, the only thing, you're never gonna, no one's gonna have, the body that they're 100% satisfied with. We're never gonna be truly satisfied with our health. We can always become healthier. So it's important to focus on the journey, not the destination. Because not only is this a good way of looking at things, not only is this the way the world works, the only way you can get to that end goal is through the journey, but on top of that, it's gonna keep you motivated, and you're not gonna feel disappointed if you're not where you are you're not where you are at the moment. So if you procrastinate loads at the moment and you waste time at the moment, then if tomorrow you procrastinate a little bit less, instead of being upset at the destination that you're at, instead of being upset at the place you're at, be happy that you've made progress from yesterday. Because if there's two people, one of them's up here, one of them's doing great, he's successful, he uses his time wisely, he's productive, and then there's another person down here that wastes his time, he games all the time and he's just not happy. But this person over time is going downwards. He's regressing, and this person down here is making progress. Then what happens over time is they're going to overlap. Did you see what I'm trying to say? It doesn't matter where you are. What matters is the progress you're making over time. It matters if your trajectory is up or down, because with time, your trajectory matters more than the end destination. Hello and welcome to the weekly Q&A call on the 4th of March. So again, this is covered in the program. When it comes to your weekly routine, you want to open up Google Calendar, schedule in sleep. That's the first thing you want to schedule in, because that's going to be consistent. And you want to just go ahead and set it as a repeating task. This means it's going to repeat every single day. Now what I do is I set it up as a repeating task, then I go to Sunday and I delete this event and following events. So if you go to Google Calendar, you schedule an event for every single day. It's going to go on forever. But I like to do my weekly plan every single week on a Monday. So I go and set sleep from Monday and continuing every day. And then on a Sunday, I delete that event and say delete this event and all following events, which means you've now got 7 days of sleep marked into your calendar. The next thing for you to do is just to add in the other tasks you're going to be doing. If it's lunch, you add it in. You add in all of the mandatory tasks. If it's work for you, you go ahead and add it in, because there's no flexibility here. Having your whole week mapped out like this, where you've got the mandatory sections, you've got eating, you've got sleeping, you've got your mandatory work, you've now got a very clear picture of how much time you actually have in the week. You've got a very realistic understanding of how much time you have, and now it's up to you to be the puppet of yourself to control where that time goes. So once you've blocked these things in, you'll now have some white space. This is up to you and your freedom. What's better than the pleasure and the joy and the freedom and the opportunity to be able to use your time the way you want to, and for you to decide where your time goes? Because if you use your time wisely, that's you living your life wisely. So there's nothing better than having that privilege. So feel glad, feel blessed, feel privileged, feel grateful for the fact that you're able to plan the rest of your week like this. And now it's just a simple fact of asking yourself the question, how do I want to spend my time? It's a really important question. It's a very practical question, but it's also a very philosophical question. So in the back of your mind, as you're creating a weekly routine, you ask yourself, how do I want to be spending my time? What's important enough for me to dedicate precious time towards? And then once you figure out that, you go ahead and you schedule it in your calendar so that at any given point in time, there's no opportunity for you to think, what should I be doing next? I don't know what I should be doing. You've got a clear plan, a clear picture of exactly how you want to spend your time, which is exactly how you want to spend your life. So it's very simple. You go into Google Calendar and you literally just block out how you want to be spending your time. And that's how I create my weekly routine. The next question is, how do I systemize every task in my weekly routine? Well, the first step to do that is to break them up and to view each task as groups. So exercising, you don't have to view exercising on a Monday as different to exercising on a Wednesday. It's the same event, you've got to treat it as the same thing. And when it comes to systemizing it, it's so dependent on the activity that you're doing. But you've got to be constantly asking yourself the question, how can I increase the likelihood that I'm going to continue to do this task? How can I make it easier for me to do the good tasks and more difficult to do the bad tasks? How can I create a to-do list so that when I'm doing this task, I'm doing it to the best degree? So when I'm doing these Q&A calls, I've got a to-do list, a step-by-step set of instructions that I walk myself through. At the start of it, I say the date. At the start of it, I welcome everyone and I tell them how they can ask their questions. By creating this to-do list, I'm able to consistently execute on this task to the best of my ability. So when it comes to uploading YouTube videos, I've got a same to-do list that walks me through step by step this process that I want to follow that allows me to create that task or to do that task at the top level. Because if you don't have a system, if you haven't systemized an activity, then maybe it's going to be good sometimes, but it's also going to be bad other times. It's inconsistent. Whereas if you systemize the task, you've got a step-by-step set of instructions and it's always going to be delivered at the same level of quality. So to systemize it, it's very topic specific, but if you want, you can post it in the group or we can talk together about whatever activity you're wanting to systemize if you're struggling to do it yourself, and together we'll be able to come up with a formula for you to do that activity so that you're not just half-assing the activity. When you're doing it properly and you're squeezing all of the value out of it and you're really using that time wisely. I think it was Marcus Aurelius that said every second you should concentrate like a Roman, and by systemizing it really lets you concentrate on the task at hand and make sure it gets done properly and efficiently and well. So that's all I have to say about systemizing. Okay, great. That appears to be everyone's questions. If your questions weren't answered or you come up with something after the call, not a problem at all. Feel free to post it up in the group and I'll reply to you as soon as possible. But not only that, you're going to get other people's responses and we can all engage together. But I appreciate you all for showing up. I'm really, really blessed. Week 5's getting along great. And to see all of the results that you guys are getting, it's incredible. So I appreciate all of the people that have sent through testimonials. It's so heartwarming to see the crazy results that you guys are getting. So it's incredible to be alongside you guys as part of this journey, and I'm so grateful for you, and I'll see you in the next call. If you've enjoyed this video, click the like button. If you're new around, subscribe.